Here we're going to take a look at scatterplots. This scatterplot is an example from the Applied Behavior Analysis Second Edition text written by Cooper, Huron, and Heward, page 144. I do suggest that you read the section in your text about scatterplots. They do an excellent job of going over all that information. Scatterplots are used to compare two variables to see if there is a functional relationship between the two. This here scatterplot is comparing speed in miles per hour and following distance in meters, and then they've got young males, young females, middle-aged, older, to see if you can find any correlation. So a scatterplot is not used when you're doing changes over time. Again, changes over time are best done with a line graph. And there's multiple data points for particular areas in a scatterplot. Some possible subjects for a scatterplot could be comparing problem behaviors with different antecedents. So you can see, is there a particular antecedent that is affecting a particular behavior by plotting that out on a scatterplot. You could plot out, for instance, whether the wind speed affects goose migration. It's just two different variables. Let's see how we can create one of these. Using Excel, which I have open down here, I chose to compare the temperature and ice cream sales to see if there's correlation between the temperature outside and the ice cream sales at Mr. Pibb's ice cream stand. I simply have over here the data of what the temperature was and how many sales Mr. Pibb made. To create a scatter plot, I highlight, and then I insert a scatter plot. The scatter that you want is one that doesn't include all the lines, curves, just a scatter plot with markers only. Okay? There we have it. It's got ice cream sales. We want it to be grayscale all the time. All graphs should be grayscale or black and white to reduce bias. We also want it to be Times New Roman. Come on. Okay. And we need to, I am going to choose to change my title to the effect of temperature on ice cream sales. That font's a bit large. I'm going to go to 12 point. You don't want your title to overpower your graph. We need to add axes labels. Layout, axis title, horizontal, that's the x-axis, title below the axis. This is where we have temperature. And then we want the y-axis, primary vertical, rotated axis. This is ice cream sales. Okay, in this instance, it's not an intervention, but I did create this graph to see if there was a correlation. If this independent variable had an effect on this dependent variable. So temperature is our independent variable. It's the one that I'm trying to see if it has an effect on the dependent variable, which is ice cream sales. And the scatter plot clearly demonstrates that yes, there is a correlation between the temperature and ice cream sales at Mr. Pibb's ice cream shop. Again, in order for this to be complete, you need to put it into a Word document. I also need to insert a data path. When you have a scatter plot like this, you often want to have a path that kind of shows more linearly, in a more linear manner, I should say, what that data path is. Here it's fairly clear. I'm going to insert shape line, and starting down here and pulling up to about there is approximately the data path. Change that again to grayscale, and we can see the increase in ice cream sales based on temperature. Of course, if you're doing this for the graphing assignment in 412, you'll need to copy this, paste it into your Word document with your other graphs, and add the labels as I showed you how to do in the bar graph assignment. But that is our scatter plot graph.